Okay, so I decided to film a art studio setup because we're gonna be moving and it would just be nice to have this memory saved in video form. So as you can see, my Posad box, it's by Alla Prima Pochade. It has this compartment for when you're plein air painting. Obviously I'm not. I am just, you know, in the kitchen. It's nice though because it's a place to store paintings that aren't dry yet. So I have my iPad that I use for references most of the time. Got my baby monitor over there. And yeah, so let's look at this. Here's like a portrait study that never finished. Kitty saying hi. So since I'm in such a small space, I'm in a one-bedroom apartment with my partner, baby, and cat. I've been working on paper, basically exclusively, except for a couple times I've worked on a panel. But yeah, so it's very convenient because you can have a stack of like 50 paintings and it'll just be like, you know, very relatively thin. Okay, that should be better. So the nice thing about this panel holder is that there's a little divider that you can use for various sizes. So right now it's on the 8-inch size, I think, and then there's also a 9-inch one thing right here, and it magnetizes in there. But the thing that kind of sucks is that the bottom part, so it's supposed to slide the panel out, but the bottom part broke, so I kind of just taped it. I taped like, I don't know, what is this, just like some card stock or something, and it didn't work, but I still just have it on there. I should fix that. But yeah, so as you can see, that didn't really work, so I kind of just have to go in there and grab it. But this should be dry. This is just like a panel I wanted to paint over, so I painted this over it, which I will probably paint over again because I don't really like what's going on there, but it's okay. So yeah, that's really nice, really convenient. I'll show you where I put all of the finished paintings, which is just in a cabinet. Okay, so here is the Posad box open. I have the palette, which I use a very limited color palette because all my paints are actually stored in this box. And then my brushes, those are my most used brushes. I do have more brushes in the cabinet. But yeah, so this thing's nice. This is where the panel sits. But it is also magnetic. Like there's a magnet on the back. So you can move it up and down. If you have it like this, you have the brush quiver. And then this extends and just snaps back to where you have your panel. So that's nice. And then the drawers on the side. This, I have some shop towels, palette knife, and this rubber eraser thing, and Q-tips. Yeah, very simple. This is where I leave my brushes too while I'm working. They'll just be like resting here. They can rest along here, like all the way lengthwise. Here's a dirty brush I forgot to clean. Or I usually just have them like this, resting on the towel. So there's that, and then this side is where all my paints are. So like I said, very limited palette. I also have solvent-free gel, which I don't really use. Not all of them are on the actual palette right now. This is a little cup that came with the easel, which is really nice. I just have safflower oil in there. And yeah, I use that to clean my brushes. I also use soap, and I do have Gamsol that I use. Sometimes I'll use it. I wasn't using it for a while. Like I said, I have a baby. Didn't want to use any solvents around her. So I wasn't using Gamsol at all. I would just do alla prima, straight up paint from the tube, and then clean my brushes with just soap and oil. But now I use it very sparingly, just in the beginning layers and to clean up brushes. So now let's walk over to my cabinet. So this is the cabinet. It's kind of messy right now all around it. So it's just this cabinet I got from Facebook Marketplace. Let's see what we got in here. So it's not really like super organized, but it works for me. We have like tape and miscellaneous stuff in this old tea box. We have my like pens and journals and notebooks, and this is like sketchbooks and journals. Pencils, pens, more tape, scissors, and I'm pretty sure my ruler is back there. It's kind of dark too. But yeah, down here, got this. This I think is just a bag, baby book. And then here's the rest of my brushes, my little soap. And then I like to keep little plastic bags for when I am plein air painting. I like to have that as a trash bag. I got some, my Gamsol. Is this gesso? No. Yeah, it is gesso, but it like broke on the bottom, so it's all taped up. Some brush soap, and then some panels, but the safflower oil. I got my jar for Gamsol back there. I know it's really dark. Some black gesso. So this is where my finished paintings are. And like I said, I do have some panels, but I didn't really paint on them. No, I guess I did, but I don't really care for these paintings, so I'll probably paint over them. But yeah, I started painting on paper, very convenient. This I think I've been using, yeah, it's just like a panel to tape the paper to. Yeah, there's nothing like too interesting going on in these panels, but the paper, when I first started using it, I cut them really small. So this is a quarter of it. They were 9 by 12. Let's go somewhere with more light actually. So I was cutting them pretty small, like this, just to get used to working on paper, and I had different brands I was trying, and so these are like 6 by 4.5, something like that. So these are just scraps that I will paint over probably. So here's some paintings on paper that actually I'm kind of proud of. And they're so tiny. It's kind of fun. It's like a postcard. But yeah, so there's so many little paintings that you can fit because, first of all, they're small in size, but they're also on paper, so they're super thin. And yeah, there's just a lot of stuff I have done on paper. And I really enjoyed it actually. I think I got used to it. But I do want to work on canvas because I remember enjoying that, but it's been so long. And then I've been prepping them with gesso. That's just a mixture of black and white because I like working on gray or midtones. But yeah, that's not like the best application of gesso because I would just squirt on the white gesso and then like use a palette knife and put the black gesso on, just mix it on the paper. But it's fine because these are, you know, it's just for fun, all of this. But it is nice with the gesso because it smooths out the paper texture a bit, and it makes it like so you don't have to scrub in the paint to get all the white dots out. Because if you look at this, hopefully you can see that there's like a bunch of little white dots that you don't really notice if the lighting isn't like showing it directly, and then when you go into sunlight you can see all the little dots, but not that big of a deal for now. This is the arches or arch oil paper. It has a very interesting texture. It's like their watercolor paper texture. Fun to work on, but strange. The other ones I have, I think I'll look at what brands they are, but they're more of like a fake canvas weave. But yeah, so this is like, I don't know how many paintings this is. A lot of them are this tiny size, but still, like, all this is so thin, so it doesn't really take up that much space. These I'll just paint over, and I just put them on top because it kind of protects the other paintings. So all of those and some panels fit in here. Oh, here's the paper pad, the oil paper. And when I'm working on paper, I'll just tape them to the back of the pads. Makes it a lot easier. So I've mostly been working 9 by 12, but my Posad box can hold up to 11 by 14. So I recently got a pad of paper that's 11 by 14. Let me go get it. So I also have this bookshelf, and at the top I keep some paintings that are drying if I don't have room in my little Posad Box thing. So this is my pad of paper that is 11 by 14. It's not going to focus. Okay, I'll put it on the floor. So I worked on this painting, which I just taped off because I wanted it a different size. But yeah, you see I just tape it on there. Sometimes I'll just work directly on the pad and just rip off the painting when it's done. You can see the paper is never like pristine. But this is, what brand is this? This is Canson oil and acrylic. So yeah, the texture, it's really dark over here too. The texture is like the faux canvas texture, which I do like. Yeah, really fun surface to work on actually. And this I think has 25 sheets on it, and that's like, you know, like one board thick. So if you had a panel, if you had 25 panels, it would be really take up a lot of space, but this is really convenient. Up there I also have some other paintings. Let me get them. So I do have some panels I've been working on, but I think I put so much pressure on myself to get the panel paintings perfect that I never finish them. But yeah, so here's a lot of portrait practice that I've been doing on paper, which is really convenient because I don't have to worry about it being good since I'm just using paper and it doesn't take up a lot of space. This is the first one I did, so you can see the progression. They were in order. So yeah, and I would write down like how long it took. This is 1.5 hours. What's this one? Some of them I didn't, I guess. But yeah, just a lot of studying. And haven't done that in a while actually. I also have this, like, what do you call this? Paper document holder that I can use. These are old paintings that I was gonna paint over because they're on a nice gesso board. And I will never finish the actual paintings on them, so it'll be nice to paint over those someday. But yeah, they're really small size. I think it's a 6 by 8, and they fit in this nicely. I would use this when I was plein air painting as my painting holder, wet painting holder. And it's really convenient. You just have to make sure you keep it flat when you're driving around so painting doesn't get squished. But I do have a couple framed paintings that are on panel. This one's on a linen oil prime panel that I wanted to try out, and it was really fun to work on, but really expensive. And then this is just some masonite panel, I believe. But yeah, these frames I don't think are the best. I think they were like $5 at Target. I also have this painting that's in a frame that I got for like $10 at Marshall's or something. So it's not my style of frame, but I could easily paint over it, I think. It's just some sort of plastic. But yeah, this is on an 11 by 14 paper, the Canson paper. I don't know how well you can see it because it's kind of dark over here. But yeah, really fun painting. Needs to be varnished too. I haven't varnished any of my paintings on paper before. I'm pretty sure you can do that. Should be fine, but I'll look into it. So that's my setup. It's worked for me for this past year. Yeah, since I'm on the kitchen table, I always clean up every time I paint. I'll just wipe down the table, and this goes in front of that little cabinet that I showed you guys. I just store it, you know, everything stores so neatly, which I really appreciate. And yeah, kitchen table. Since I'm painting so small and on paper and not using a lot of paint per painting, it's nice knowing that I'm not like splattering paint all over the place. But I do still wipe everything down just because, you know, got a baby and a cat and don't want them eating paint. I also don't want myself to eat paint, or my fiance. So yeah, that's my little studio tour. Thanks for watching.